Welcome back to Scoundrels, Inc., another Star Wars podcast. I am Frank Janich, here in a drama-free zone with Kevin Smets this week to talk about the series finale of The Bad Batch. We've been off for a few weeks, so we're going to touch on the last 3 episodes, especially the finale. Kevin, how you been? How you doing? What's going on in your
Good,
life?
man. It's been a long time seeing you. I'm looking you dead in the eye when I talk. No, now I am. See, I don't even know how to do this. See, I like looking this way. This looks good.
You look wherever you want to look.
Really? Does this bother you though? I'm not really.
I'm not looking
at
anymore.
you.
I'm not
when I
looking
look
anymore.
at you, who am I talking to? The fans or you? Are the fans eavesdropping on our show? A friendly conversation between the two of us, or am I a news broadcaster talking to the camera? That's what I want to know.
I always let the audience decide because they're always right.
Okay. Well, the audience, you're always right. All 42 of you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, I'm glad to be back, and I'm excited to talk about this. I got where's the filler episode piece of paper I have?
Yeah.
That finale was a total filler episode, let me tell you.
Oh, my gosh.
Just kidding. Yeah, good to be here in a nice trauma-free zone, and until we start arguing about the fates of all of our heroes.
I was going to say, you got a little bit of a grizzled look going on here right now.
Yeah, and it's like the cold, the lighting. It almost looks like I'm in like a Death Star. I don't have like a helmet on or anything, but
Yeah,
it looks like I'm on the Death Star.
Yeah, you got a little grizzly going on there. A little grizzle.
You think it's too much? Do I look bad?
It's good.
For your podcast listeners out there, I look grizzled. I look like Hunter in the spoiler alert.
Oh my gosh! We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So the episodes that we haven't covered yet. Episode 13 was titled Into the Breach, and then episode 14 was Flash Strike, and the series finale is called The Cavalry Has Arrived, and man, what a way it went out, I gotta say. But these past couple episodes, I was like, it's just like it was set up, and like putting things in place, and I was like, okay, let's get going. And luckily, though, the last episode was 50 minutes long, or 45 and change, whatever, with credits and all that. So it was like 2 episodes in one, which is nice for a series finale, especially for a show that only has 24-minute episodes, what have you. But Kevin, how have you been liking the run up to the series finale? How did you like that? Those past few episodes.
I didn't watch.
Just
those
speak your
episodes,
mind, man. Speak your mind.
No. I watched 2 episodes ago, but admittedly, I did not get a chance to watch last week's. But I was worried that it was just like going to be filler for this week's. Mm-hmm. And now, after recording Jedi Way, I heard there's some cool things on that episode. So I do want to go back. So I feel remiss that I won't be able to speak about episode 14, but I have plenty to say about the finale on 15. Remind me, 13. That was when, what was going on in that episode? Do we have a recap of that? Because I did like that episode too.
Episode 13 was Into the Breach, and that was where I think Echo, or Rampart comes back, and they got to get into onto Tantus, or no, they go to the facility to get the codes to find out how to try and get to Tantus.
I like that episode, surprisingly, even though that sounds like a side quest in an MMO. Even hearing it, but yeah, I mean, I think that I was just everything was leading up to the finale for me. But I did like the return of Rampart. I know there were a lot of people talking about what's going to happen with him. Is he going to be good or bad?
No, he's still a jerk. He's still an asshole.
Yeah, dude, the leopard never changes his spots. I must say, as filler light here, I have a pre-write screen on another Mac back here, and what's freaking me out is the mouse is moving around, and I'm looking at it, but the mouse on the screen is moving around in front of the white screen. Mm-hmm. But there's no one moving the mouse, so I feel like my house is haunted right now. But yes, speaking of, I thought that the characterization of him, I like that they didn't. Remember, we talked about it. It was the whole podcast exists because we were going to do a show about is there too many redemptions in Star Wars?
Right.
And if that guy got redeemed too, it's like Callus did it, and he did it better with better sideburns, right? So
right.
You know what I mean? But I did like his characterization, but I always knew I knew he was going to kind of be a mess up and an F up. And I can't wait till we discuss his end. But yeah, the last 2 episodes, because to be honest, I watched some of the last week's episode, but I wasn't able to watch the full thing, and it was a very crazy week last week. That's why I wasn't on Scoundrels. Remember, I had to cancel, and then we didn't do a Jedi Way. So when it came to watching the finale, I had a feeling. I'm like, no, man, I just got to get to the finale. So I had read a recap of it. So unfortunately for you viewers at home, but I don't think anyone really wants to talk about 14. I think it's all about 15, right?
Yeah.
The finale. I know there was some cool stuff with Rampart in 14, though.
So like the stuff with Rampart was interesting just because, him and Crosshair, as Crosshair mentions to Rampart, like, the Empire tossed us aside. They don't need us. They discarded us. What makes you think that they would ever take you back or what have you? And if you were trying to like get back, in their good graces, what have you? There's that whole angle and everything. In episode 14, Flash Strike, that's where you see the Zillo Beast for the first time.
I do have a comment about that episode now. Thanks for reminding me.
In the facility. And
I actually have a picture for that. I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I have a picture for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's for you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's for you.
I know what it is. Go ahead.
It's my guy. Oh, what is it?
I know what it is.
It says
wait, what is...
Come on, man.
What is...
There it is.
Zillow gone
That was
wild.
Frank, excited to tweet this. He didn't tweet this.
I did not tweet that.
Mine as well. He liked to tweet Zillow.com. Oh, here I go. I'm gonna appear. There it is. He likes to tweet Zillow.com. So that's another reason I didn't watch it.
Don't worry.
I remember.
Don't worry. According to Elon Musk's analytics on the tweet, only like 50 people saw it.
Really? Well, me, that was one of them. So I knew there was, and then I texted him.
It was a targeted ad towards you. At Kevin,
and Frank, for much love to Frank, Frank replies, "No, I'm looking into purchasing a home."
Yeah.
But here, it happened today too, but it was with someone I don't follow. Mm-hmm. So Elon Musk decided that I get this, and thankfully I'd already seen the episode. But that last shot of them with one of the last shots with the moon, where it's an older Omega and Hunter. Yeah. Someone tweeted that and said, "What are your thoughts on the finale?" And like, I don't even follow him, and I tweeted at him.
I said,
funny? "Bro, I don't even follow you. Why do I have you on my timeline? Also, be better about spoilers."
What's funny is I was scrolling Twitter in the morning when I wake up, because as I usually do, because I'm an addict.
It's a muscle memory. Yeah, you forget.
I'm an addict. My name is Frank. And
Brandon's an addict of threads, so it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know how. Anyways, I was well aware that I'm probably gonna see some Bad Batch tweets, but I'm just keep scrolling, and I did see that shot, but I knew it was a shot from Bad Batch, and I just quickly
got out of
there. But I also thought, maybe that's a shot from like a different episode that we just had not too long ago with the Saga Ventrix. I recognized the cave, but I could not tell that it was an older Omega. So that did not get spoiled for me when I was watching the episode this morning or this afternoon when I finally watched it. So I did not get spoiled by that, but I was like well aware. I did see like someone did tweet out a Zillo Beast shot.
Someone, yeah, but I was like, to get Zillo ruined.
But I was like, well, yeah, no kidding. We're going to see the Zillo Beast this episode. That wasn't really a spoiler to me.
Fair question though.
Okay.
If you knew, because I knew to not be on it, because I was all in on Omega dying. I thought the last shot of the movie was going to be the doll being placed on her grave by Wrecker.
Yeah.
That would have wrecked me. But not fantasy booking aside, I actually I thought they stuck the landing, so I can't wait to talk about it. But what are you doing on Twitter before you see the episode? What if you scrolled across
I like to live
her fucking grave?
First of all, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time, so 8 o'clock Eastern. Not a lot of people. There's not a lot. Like Bad Batch doesn't have a lot of immediate like tweets when it's released. So I was in the clear. Also, my Twitter feed has been nothing but NFL and Chicago Bears since the Bears drafted Caleb Williams #1 overall and Roma Duze number 9 in the NFL draft this past week.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Past week.
Don't look at me while you're talking about it. Look off to the side. We got to be a sports radio.
Oh
show.
Yeah, we got to do the sports radio thing. So
so listen, back to Scoundrels Inc. Sports. We're gonna get a check of the out of town scoreboard, but first, Frankie, what do you think about those Chicago Bears over there? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I got it. It was way funnier before.
It was before we no. So
get off Twitter.
Don't worry, my feed has been full of football madness and clips and all that. So there wasn't really a whole lot of room for Star Wars in there as of late. However, I do got to say, from the For the Republic podcast, had this tournament going on called Club Madness. And if you're in our Discord, you may have seen that I was in a couple rounds. I actually made it all the way to the semifinals, where I did not prevail. That's okay. But we got a long win in the tournament with Scuba Stev from the Jedi Survivor game. If you've played the game, you know Scuba Stev.
Was that
the fisherman guy?
Is that a legit play on words for Scuba Steve? Like,
I would assume so, Kevin.
I don't know, man.
I would assume so. But you never know, I guess. But you know what? It was a lot of fun, actually. Glup Madness, Glup Shido. It was pretty cool to actually go a little far. I got to semifinals. And
is that where you're like debating who's the best Glup Shido?
I guess, basically. Yeah. Like, who's your favorite Glup Shido?
As you can tell, I'm a fan of all your work outside of Scoundrels because I know nothing about it.
Well, this was just purely like a Twitter thing, as far as I'm concerned.
You weren't on a show?
No.
I thought you were on a show.
No. I mean, I've talked to the one guy about getting on, but like it hasn't worked out. But and I think they touched on it a little bit on like one of their episodes a little bit. But I mainly been following it through Twitter, and so that was cool. That was fun. And then I was like, I got to find out about some other Glup Shidos I wasn't really familiar with and all that stuff. It was a good time. It was a good fun time just to tweet out, just to see what would happen and to see who's going to vote for Scuba Stav. So that was a cool time. But now that's over because I'm not in the finals. And
now you don't have to check Twitter anymore on the day that an episode releases where people will post pictures.
But I'll just say who's in the final, though. It's Double Lompop versus Depo Balaba. So a good luck.
Depo's going to win.
I mean, based on name recognition alone, and as of recording this episode right now, Devil Lompop has 44% of the vote, while Depo Balaba has 56% of the vote, and there's still 1 day and 19 hours left to vote for the finals there in the Glup.
Who do you want to win? Who knocked you out? You want that guy to win.
Devil Lompop knocked me out. Devil Lompop knocked me out, and look, good Glup Shido. Like, it's worthy Glup Shido adversary. It's, but Scuba Stev. Like, how can you not like Scuba Stev? And just
the name alone.
The best. I mean, yeah, right? I think that has a lot to do with it. Anyways, let's get back on track. The Chicago Bears.
That's not, yeah. So let's get back on track. So Chicago. This is why I love our show. You never know where we're gonna go. We take you on a fucking ride, dude. Everybody shut your mouth and enjoy the ride the Rock's taking you on.
All right, take it easy. Speaking of rides, the Smuggler's Run got a little... Remember on Twitter, someone tweeted out, about the riders, if, is it less enjoyable if the pilots are, less experienced or, they're little kids, whatever? And it's nah, man. I mean, it helps if you're yourself are the pilot.
No, but I did it once with someone who didn't know how to fly.
Be careful with your words here, Kevin.
It was way, huh?
Be careful with your words.
I'm not saying anything negative about the person. They did not know how to fly. They were just going up and down. It was like two kids, but it made it so much more enjoyable because they were just rocking the boat. It was like being on a carnival ride instead of a serious flight. But look, there's no beating the way we went on it anyway. So they'll never. You understand? It's unless we know, frickin' Bob Iger, and he says, come on the ride alone again. You're never gonna have that happen.
Yeah. If Bob Iger wants me to go on Smuggler's Run alone with him, I'm gonna politely decline. You know what? That's okay, Bob.
I'll do anything to get on that couch.
You'll be on that couch in the Millennium Falcon?
No, that's not what I meant.
Oh, you noticed this
to get
couch,
on that cockpit
Kevin?
again, but then I was like, they can just bleep out pit, and it sounds like, never mind. So listen.
Can you imagine?
If they don't know how to ride.
Couch. Oh, I recognize that couch. Oh, you do.
Bro, if they don't know how to ride the ride, it makes it more enjoyable. It makes it more like a carnival. I have survived one of those rides, and it was fun. But yeah, when I'm flying, I think I'm like Han Solo trying to do it. But I've never gotten two things of coaxium. But friend of the podcast, Molly and Alex, I think one of the two said that they've been on the ride once where someone didn't know how to fly, and it was the only time they ever got both canisters. So.
Oh shit! I mean, look at that.
What can you do?
Sometimes.
But there's only one person, two people that can claim that they got to fly the Millennium Falcon alone. I mean, you have to literally go on an you would have to, in order for that to happen, you need to go on a rainy day on a Tuesday, like in a February when it's like off season, no one's there, and get there first, like right on rope drop, and you could probably recreate that. Only two people in the cockpit thing, but not us. We did it on a full day.
We should have wrote down like the conditions that made that happen to see if we could replicate it.
In order to remember, you have to threaten to kick a kid off the ride.
Oh right, like yeah.
That was the whole thing. Is like I didn't realize that they had double booked the pilot. That's how it happened. So then the guy was just like in this thing, like, oh fine, just take that pod over there. It's fine, and that's how we ended up on it. So.
It was great. It was a great time. But I will also say, because like the times after, because that was the first time I rode Smuggler's Run, right? And so, I mean, anything from there is always downhill, but like contextually. But
and you got the asteroid field too, right?
Yeah. So like
which, by the way, is not every time. The asteroid field is when the pods it rotates, and the asteroid field means that someone before or after you is having trouble. They need extra help. It's taking longer for them to take the seatbelts off or whatever. It's either unloading or unloading. Someone's having a problem. And instead of like when you're on a ride where you just kind of wait there, they have a alternate.
They give you more ride.
More ride, which is an asteroid field. So if you ever get the asteroid field on that ride, be privileged. Someone is either on a wheelchair trying to get off the ride, and don't be happy that they're in a wheelchair.
I was going to say, don't be happy that someone's having a problem.
No. I'm just saying that. I know. If you want to get the asteroid field ride, stand in line and wait until two people like go by on a wheelchair, and then go right behind them or after them, and then you can get that special asteroid ride.
That's incredible. Like,
wait, watch this clip finally go freaking viral, and I'm canceled.
The Smuggler's Run hack you need to know that you never knew you needed to know.
Yeah, and the thumbnail will have like a wheelchair with like a green arrow on it, man. We'd probably get 500 million views. Like
ridiculous. But what I was gonna finally say was on
about
subsequent ride about the Chicago Bears. They have an offense, okay, Kevin? I'm very excited. On subsequent rides. After my first ride on the Millennium or Smuggler's Run Millennium Falcon, always enjoyable just because it's a ride, it's an experience. There's like a story to it it's just fun just to be in there. Like I didn't even care that everything was missed or you ran into first of all it's funny, and it's just like we're in the Millennium Falcon cockpit. Like how can that
flying in the Falcon is like pizza and sex. Okay? If you're having sex and it's bad, you're still having sex. If you're having pizza, even bad pizza, you're still like, well, I'm still eating pizza right now. It's just the same way with sex, just the same way with riding the Millennium Falcon. You're on a ride the Millennium Falcon.
I was wondering where the ice cream part was coming in, but you just...
I didn't say ice cream.
You did. It's like... Never mind. Anyways.
I never said ice cream.
You did. You did.
Did I?
You did.
I didn't mean it. I meant pizza and sex.
You did.
If you have bad pizza, you're still having pizza, and the same thing goes with the other thing.
Wait, did you say ice cream? But why would I think you said ice cream?
I said pizza and sex. What are you thinking I've said?
I know, but why would I think you have... Why would I think you said ice cream? Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to figure this out. I'm not gonna be able to figure this out.
Am I really saying ice cream?
I don't. Now I'm confused.
This might be the most off the rails show ever. But another thing is, side note, I haven't really talked to Frank in like a couple weeks, so it's like been fun. Also, that freaks me out a little bit. I have this freaking sometimes I have this fear. Like on Jedi Way today, I couldn't pull Hunter's name.
Oh.
Which is bad because I have all my friends trying to get me to go to Star Wars trivia this week, thinking like the Smasher's going to go in and win, and I can't even remember Hunter's name. But then like other times where I'm like, I all of a sudden like forget what I'm doing, and I'm like, am I like I got to get a freaking CT scan up in my brain, make sure I don't have anything going on up there, but not to get too dark. So I hope you go back. Check it out. Text me that I didn't say ice cream because I swear I didn't say ice cream.
I think you. I don't know anymore. But
let us know in the comments.
I'll let you know. Oh boy. Also, before we dive into the finale discussion here, May the 4th is coming up, and they have decided, the powers that be at Lucasfilm and Disney decided to re-release.
Oh yeah.
Episode
all
1,
of them, or
The Phantom Menace? Well,
I thought it was all of them. There were some theaters doing all of it, or no?
select theaters, I believe, are doing the entire Saga run.
I couldn't find that.
But a lot more theaters, not every theater, a lot more theaters are carrying the re-release of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, for the 25th anniversary. I was supposed to go see it at the Grove with Brandon on Friday.
Where was my invite, dude?
Wow. It's still trying to make its way down to San Diego, where you live. Not up here, Kevin. You did that, not me, okay? Wow. So... then he decided, but then he's like, hey, can't make it. I got to go to space and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he has the best reason.
That sounds pretty
going.
cool. Wait, what I think, what did he say? Did he put it in the group chat or did he goes, he goes, he's flying out. He's flying out tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to NASA.
Attend a launch at the Kennedy Space Center as part of this NASA social event.
Pretty fucking cool.
That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. I would love to see a launch.
That is a reason not to see it. I'm wavering. I have a couple hours on Saturday. I have family obligations, obviously, as a married man and a child. Or not me and a child. Well, I'm a child too. Let's be honest. My wife would say that. But I would say there's a 2-hour spot, and I'm like, I could relaunch and finally get back to my Super Watch again.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
Yeah, pick up right from there. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I watched that fucking movie so many times with Schmodown studying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't think I'm there yet, man. Like, I really want I hope by Christmas. It used to be a tradition before Schmodown that I watched Lord of the Rings.
Can I offer this though? But this time you're gonna watch it in a theater.
I watched it in a theater.
I know, but I'm saying
in a theater before Force Awakens. I watched it in a theater before Rise of Skywalker, and I watched it in a theater in 3D. The only negative about Disney buying Lucasfilm was that they halted all the 3D releases.
Wow, that's the only negative.
For me, it is.
For you, okay.
Bring it on, everyone. Yeah. Great. Here we go again. No, they were going to do it once a year. The next year was going to be Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith. Never got around to it. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that is kind of a bummer. And I never got to see the 3D Phantom Menace. Never got to see it.
It hits you right in the face the first time you see it with the Radiant 7 when it comes in.
It
looks like a little small thing.
And then the pod racer scene, like the.
I know. I'm mentioning something. I'm just saying the random things are the ones where it kind of pops out. Yeah, the pod race is great. But yeah, even like have you ever seen the Star Wars movie in 3D yet, or no?
Say that again.
Have you seen any of them in 3D?
No,
probably
there's only one in 3D. Well, I mean, I guess besides the sequel
new
trilogies,
ones, yeah. Like
I did see Last Jedi in 3D, but that was the only one.
Yeah, you got to see that shot with the chip in front.
Yeah.
If I can look, it's Star Wars on the big screen. I might buy a $14 ticket and just decide at the end to go or not. So. Are you gonna go on Friday, or are you gonna?
I'm going on Friday at my usual AMC that's closer to me. That I like IMAX, but it's not an IMAX. It's not an IMAX screen, just where I go to watch IMAX. And it's a 2:15 showing on a Friday, and sadly, I was the only person to buy a ticket for that showing. However, but showings after that, like 4, 5, 6, there's more an audience.
So you're gonna be the only one in the theater. I bet you would fill.
Well. Let me see. Let me check it right now to see if I'm still the only one in this theater. At 2:15.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't like.
It's all about the people. Why did you try to get like the 8
It is about the people.
thing?
I just need because I have work the next day early, so I like to.
You have work the next day early, so you can't see an 8:15 showing of a 2.5 hour.
That's
movie?
correct. That's correct, Kevin.
Wow, okay, I just wanted to make.
That's
sure.
how early I have work the next day.
That's true. I forgot about your crazy schedule.
The 2:15 showing. Oh no, there are 3 other people just bought tickets. One in the very back row.
You know, because they want to do weird shit back there. Be careful.
Well, I would be more concerned if it was like in the left corner or the right corner, back corner. Like that's where you gotta, But no, 2 people right behind me, 2 rows behind me, and then 1 person in the very back row. Wow. It's kind of weird that these 2 people didn't pick the 2 center seats. They got one of the center seats.
I think they're up to some weird shit.
Anyways, no one cares about this.
You better have eyeballs behind the back. This is good. This is a good show. Listen,
Yeah, we're talking about seating placement at a movie theater that none of these people, whoever,
none of them care about it, but I care about it. And if they've been enjoying the ride so far, let's keep it rolling. Let's talk Bad Batch finale. Sorry I didn't watch the other two. I mean, I did. I watched the 2 ago because I had to be on Jedi Way about it. But yeah, I didn't watch. Am I missing anything? I heard there's some great
it's
stuff.
It's just more about like displaying Omega's tenacity and how much she's learned from the Batch and how much more confident she is about leading and how she's so determined at rescuing and helping people. It's really just like everything we've come to know about Omega, and it's you're just like, it's like kind of watching someone graduate, you know, and you're like going out into the real world and you're watching them in the real world and you're like, yes, awesome Omega, like great job, you know, working your way through it. She's not like down. First of all, those kids in that center, honestly, they might be the saddest kids I've ever seen animated in my entire life. They are like severely depressed. They have like.
Wouldn't you be?
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying like how well it comes across in the animation, like really, it really brings me down. Like I don't want to look at these kids. They're so sad.
That's a very sad. Yeah, you bring up very good points there.
It's crazy.
We never got to do a prediction special because we didn't do last week. So going in,
I mean, we kind of been predicting all season long, but yeah.
Well, but you know.
So
were you thinking? Yeah, who were you thinking was going to live and die and all that?
I thought I for sure was pretty certain Rampart was going to die. I was also pretty sure Hemlock was going to die, and I was pretty sure.
I'm talking about the main. Yeah,
I was pretty sure about Nalase was going to die, and the one of the Batch, I thought it was going to be Wrecker because they'd been kicking his ass the last couple episodes, and he's been getting like knocked unconscious. He's been getting, you know, hit every which way, and I was just
it's like? It's like in the movies when like the gunslinger gets shot, and you don't realize he's shot, or like in Breaking Bad when Walter gets spoiler alert, but like he gets shot in the end,
yeah,
and you don't realize it until later that he's been kind of hiding it, and he's like, I'm fine. Well,
like
he doesn't say that I'm fine, but like later, and so when Wrecker's like, I'm fine, I thought he had a mortal wound. I thought he was taking his time, and he was going to go out in a blaze of glory.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought too. I thought, and Wrecker was the only, and I was like, I don't know about Crosshair, just because Omega wouldn't want him to do it that way. That's more of a that's an old Crosshair thing, I feel like, and this new Crosshair, while he's, you know, it was always in the back of my mind that Crosshair could go, and in this finale, they set it up like he's about to go out in a blaze of glory. They set it up. He's like, you guys, you stay here. I know what it's like in the inside, and I know that if we all go in there, none of us are making it out alive.
That was a great scene.
Oh, phenomenal!
They're like, you're not going in alone, bub. Like that was such like love right there. I thought that Echo was gonna die because Echo was not on the Jaws like ship in Rebels.
Oh,
when they have that homage to Jaws with Rex and Wolf. Mm-hmm. Forget who Gregor,
yeah.
There's no Echo there, so
I know.
Echo?
Yeah, that's what I was like.
I thought Echo was gonna die. And I was way off with my ending. I thought it was gonna be very dark. But normally I'm all because like I was killing people in my KOTOR movie that lived in the games. to angered people. Like, why would you have to kill them off like that? Like, well, spoiler alert. Like, yeah, I kill a lot of people off because I always felt like war should have weight. But what hit me afterwards was when someone tweeted on. I saw the picture of the poster of this season of all of them together. Mm-hmm. And not from the ending. It was just a picture, the design of all of them together. And it's like, seeing that group, it brought it the same feelings I had with the end of Rebels, where most of them made it too, right? Like, and besides Kanan. But like, when you see that mural where most of them were together, I think it adds to the replayability. Because I used to talk about it. Is this a series that you could really rewatch, especially if everyone dies? It's kind of depressing. Like, you know that they have this finite end.
Right.
And I think them all living, for me, makes it like where I would want this on the Super Watch. I do a Super Watch anyway. You have to watch everything. But like that I would want to revisit it now because you do. And they deserve. Sometimes people struggle and fight their way and they deserve a happy ending. I mean, would it be epic to have the final shot be, you know, Tech's goggles and the doll being placed on Omega's grave with just Wrecker there and even the headband being hung on the, you know what I mean? And the helmet.
I don't even want to think about that, Kevin.
It would be
I'll tell you right
now.
I don't even want to think about that. I'm getting a little.
Think about it. You can't unthink it. But they didn't do that.
No,
they didn't pull a Logan, and it's fine. And they pulled a Harry Potter in the Deathly Hallows.
They
is
did.
What they did.
They did.
They have literally Harry, Hermione, and Ron on that tower bridge thing in front of the castle, and there's calm music, and it slowly fades out, and then it says 16 years later, and we fade into the coda, right? The afterwards,
right.
The epilogue. And they don't put any time, but they do the same thing. They have this epic shot. In fact, I got up and took a picture of it on my phone because I was like, that was going to be on our show what I wanted to be like. This is a way to stick the landing. So, like, this photo was taken before. Did the picture not come out? Oh, that's a bummer. Well, I had thought I'd taken a picture, but I guess I did not take a picture. That's so bizarre. The photo, or that last shot would be so perfect, but then they give you that coda, which I thought was great too, and it's also because, calling it here, the Rogue Squadron movie will have Keisha Castle Hughes as an older Omega, as one of the pilots of Rogue Squadron. I don't know if it'll be a TV show. I don't know if it'll be live action. Maybe it won't be live action at this point. Who knows? But I do believe that you don't call her out for I'm going to join the rebellion and I'm going to be a pilot. You don't mention those specific things unless they're going to later capitalize on it. And I'm not the old Kevin that they must be dead by the end of Return of the Jedi, because I have now gone around the fact that the war machine is so big that she could be a pilot in the rebellion and probably live through it all and be fine. They did it with Hera.
Yeah.
They could do it with her. And there's even rumors that she could possibly pop up in Andor. I don't think that'll happen. But I do think that we are going to get an epic Rogue Squadron movie one day, the Patty Jenkins. And I don't think she'll be the lead. She'll be like Glenn Powell along with, Goose and Maverick. You know what I mean? She'll be the Glenn Powell character. Well, he was kind of unlikable at first, but he like the Iceman. But she'll be one of the pilots. What do you think about that? When you saw that, what did you think of how everyone survived? What do you think of the good light ending? And then what did you think? And I also thought Wrecker was going to die, and I thought maybe even in the coda we'd find out. But they even mentioned in the coda, she's like, keep an eye on Crosshair and Wrecker. So they got to live a happily ever after. And sometimes characters deserve that.
Yes, especially.
So what do you think of the ending and the coda?
First of all, just getting to the batch itself minus Omega, living the next, I guess, 18 years on Pabu. Everyone, first of all, once Pabu popped up, and we're like, hell yeah, Pabu, this is a place where they can, retire, basically. And then the Empire came, but then now that's not a thing anymore. But that's, I guess, I don't know. Anyways, not a big deal. But I do like the fact that the three stayed on Pabu and made a life there. Concerning Omega, I'm going to throw a question back to you. When do you think? So first of all, I was a little wowed that we were getting a much older Omega, and it was this really weird, interesting feeling I had when an older Omega showed up. In terms of like, wow, this kid's grown up.
You liked her?
I knew you were gonna go there, you sick son of a bitch. I knew you were gonna go there, but that's not what happened, okay? Because that's just weird because it's an animated character. But
everybody loved Jessica Rabbit back in the day. Trust me, you could like her.
Did you know? I just read that Bob Hoskins had no idea what Jessica Rabbit was going to look like. He had made up something. He had made up something in his head, and then when he saw the actual drawing, he's like, "Whoa, that's way more provocative than I ever came up with in my head."
Oh, was he mad about it? I
don't think he was mad about it. He was just like, "That's not what I had in my head." Anyways,
she probably thought it was like a female rabbit or something.
I don't know, but it's just that we've seen Omega from these 3 seasons grow up with the Bad Batch, and you got to see her become like her own person by the end of this series, culminating what happened between on the I guess pier or ledge walk, whatever, catwalk at the end of the episode with Hemlock, which I want to talk to you about.
Cool.
I want to talk to you a lot about that scene. But with Omega, I was just like, wow, it's like running into like your cousin you haven't seen in 15 years. Like, wow, this kid grew up as a whole new person, sort of, in a way. And for her to now decide, like, I'm going off to fight the rebellion. First of all, such an Omega thing to do. She has that just the natural want to help anyone in a situation, let alone against the Empire at this point. My question to you though is, when do you think she decided to join the rebellion? Is it pre-Scarif? Is it right after Scarif? Or is it after the Death Star? Or maybe another time period?
Would they desperately need pilots, right? She said that.
I mean, they always desperately need pilots,
Yeah. But you might desperately need pilots after you get your asses kicked at Scarif,
Perhaps, but but see, like, what would prompt Omega to get into the fight? Like, also, like, how remote is Pabu, or like how much? And then it all comes into like how much are they getting reports back? Blah blah blah. This that, and the other. I don't know, but
I could imagine that. Yeah, after Scarif or the Death Star destroying Alderaan, or the Death Star being destroyed, maybe that. But like, like it's a little less heroic that you're like, oh, they destroyed the Death Star. Now I'll join the fight. You know what I mean? Like, so
I'm thinking like
Scarif.
I'm thinking Scarif as well. Right after Scarif.
And then there's plenty of room there. You could have plenty of stories to tell. It depends on if they do that movie or show. Is it going to take place after? I hope it takes place after in the New Republic kind of not.
Because at this point, Omega would be like in her late 20s, joining the rebellion.
And then she'd be in her 40s for later stuff, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like 30 after the Return of the Jedi or whatever.
After post-Return, yeah, something like... Because that was over the course of, what, like 6 years?
Around, Keisha Castle Hughes can do it, man.
Yeah. So
she voiced Emery. So she already voiced the older Omega. It lines up perfectly. She did live action. I think she was Queen Jamilia or whatever, if I remember correctly.
Really? From Attack of the Clones? Yeah.
You want to double check me on that, but I believe if you look it up, she played a queen on Naboo, or maybe it was in Revenge of the Sith, and she was in that funeral procession.
I think she was in both. Because that's
I guess it would be
the
same character.
They could have got a different actress for the same character.
No, because I thought, no way. Hold on, now we got to look this up. I know this is more fascinating radio for you. Let me look it up here. Keisha Castle Hughes. You keep talking. Let's talk about that bridgeway though in the rain. Like that is when you forget that you're watching a freaking cartoon.
Aisha Darker yeah.
We're both looking it up. This is great.
Well, because I wanted to know before you, and I did. Anyways.
Did you find out before me? I don't think so, guy.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. That's it. She's Queen Apolana. She's not Queen Jamilia.
Oh, it's a different queen.
So I'm wrong. She was in Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, gotcha.
Ooh, look at this! Look at this crosslight right here. This is pretty good, dude.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Do I look good right now, bro? Be honest. Maybe not.
Are you there?
There we go. Well, I like that. So.
Oh, you're there. Okay.
Yeah,
you dropped out for a second. You dropped out for a second, but now you're back.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Here. But yeah, I thought the music. I thought of you when we hear the clone theme, because I know you'd recognize that. Like when you hear the clone theme and like,
so
music,
good.
Yeah. And you talk about like it's the Band of Brothers style, man. Like they're all like, when you want to fight one last time. I have one last fight in me. Oh, that's so epic, dude.
When Omega says, "Let's complete the mission," I got some chills. I was like, "Hell yeah, let's complete the mission!" Ooh,
yeah. And then that was an emotional thing. My favorite scene of all of it, was Lama Su's death, and not because I'm like trying to hate on her. Nala Se. Sorry, Lama Su is her cousin. Nala Se. Nala Se's death was that like vibe of like, man, like she has it behind her back. She already knows she's gonna die. Yeah. So like, I know Roka was saying on the Jedi Way. You can watch that. You'll find us on YouTube. Roka was saying he would prefer that like it was more like the guy in Terminator where he's like holding the thing and he finally has last breath.
I was thinking that actually.
I was like, no, that means she got shot and is suffering and stopping breathing. Like that would be the worst way to die is these last minutes of yours. No, she got to die instantly, basically she realized it and then like fell. Mm-hmm. But then like the shot where it rolls down and he looks down like, that's it.
It was
like,
it was a great
such
scene.
A great comeuppance. That's where that made me want to watch that episode in the theater on an opening night, because that would have gotten the with the shot. Like you hear the crowd would have done the. And then they would have had an exhalation when it exploded. Everybody would have cheered. That would have been epic live action or a live with theater moment. But that was such a freaking awesome way to die, and just a heroic way to die. And then on the bridge too, and I'll let you comment on both. And then on the bridge, just getting goosebumps thinking. Look at Goosebumps, dude. Rock steals my shit. with Crosshair and Hunter, they've been at odds all season long and all show long, basically. Like, and for him to like have have faith. I trust you. Like, you'll know what to do. She'll know what to do. Do it. And they have faith, and he gets that redemption even with the shaky hand. And he wasn't trusting himself, and then just shooting him a couple times. He gets the General Grievous.
He
treatment,
does.
Right? He's just getting shot, and then falls off. Like, and there's no question he's dead because when Tarkin comes back, the report is he's been deceased. So. What did you think of those two deaths, Frank, and how that went down? I thought it was great.
So Nala says with Rampart, I was like, yeah, she's got to go because, in the sense of that, like, where the galaxy is at, like, there's no Kaminoan like technology or cloning technology. That's something that, first of all, the Empire was trying to squash already by destroying. I always want to say Tapioca City, but it's not Tapioca.
Tapioca? Man, I'm retired. Yeah. This is why I've been dodging City. All my friends' calls. They think they're going to bring the Smasher to Star Wars Trivia Night, and I'm just going to crush it.
On Camino. Tapoca. So, like, back in the first season, when they destroy the city and all that. Anyways, so I liked that Nala Se, got to, be like, yeah, my work is gonna die with me, and that's it. It's always Kaminoan. And Rampart
she knew it too.
Yeah, and Rampart still has the arrogance that, Kaminoans are whatever, clones are whatever. Yeah. Just he does not care about anybody. And I think Nala Se even brings it up to him in the conversation of like, yeah, see, you fail to recognize this, that, and the other, blah blah blah. And Rampart could care less. And what happens? He ends up dying by her hand.
Well, and then how about that bye with Omega and her too? Like, she knows when she's walking off, they're never going to see each other again.
Yeah,
like those are moments that are just like, goosebump inducing.
Yeah, getting to the bridge with Hemlock and Omega, Hunter, and Crosshair. The culmination of this sequence was so well earned in my eyes because for how long have we been keeping an eye on Crosshair's shaking hand, right? And you and it's one of these things where it's like, yeah, we know he's dealing with some PTSD, it's about Tantus and all that, and he's trying to overcome it, and he's having a hard time doing all that. And then throughout the series, Hunter's had a hard time letting Omega go and kind of growing up and being her own person and doing a little more riskier things, even though they've been training her and she's been doing all this, learning all this stuff from each members of the Bad Batch. And then you get to Omega where she's finally like, it's kind of like the class final. It's just like she's taking the test right now, and it's Hunter and Crosshair, having to trust and believe in Omega enough that she knows what to do. Hunter's there, he's gotten to that spot, and he kind of coaches Crosshair through that sequence, and Omega does what she does, fully trusting her brothers, and I just thought it was a phenomenal scene. Like, I knew what was going to happen. Like, I knew it was going to happen. Like, Crosshair's going to, or I felt like I knew it was going to happen.
Really? You didn't think that he would miss? You didn't think he would miss and shoot Omega in the head and they both die?
No. No. I felt like I knew it was going to happen. And I was still rooting for Crosshair in this moment. I was like, come on, Crosshair, you can do it. And you just had this belief that he's going to pull through because it's Omega and like everything.
Another thing that would have been great in the theater. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when it finally happens, it's easily one of the top 3 moments in the entire series.
Is it the best 8 minutes of Star Wars ever?
I don't know. Let's call it
shout out to Sean if he still listens.
But it was it's such a great moment and really just a culmination. Like, all their characters have come full circle now, and it's fully realized characters that we've watched over the course of 3 seasons. And it was just, I was blown away by that sequence. And yeah, Hemlock, man, he had to get shot like 7 times or something before he fell over. Like, damn, man, Hemlock really. And then I was like, I wonder if Hemlock like souped himself up with like some science crap that he figured out. Kind of like Gideon or whatever.
Some crazy deaths too. I like the vibro sword through the wall.
Oh yeah, I was like, damn.
And then Wrecker taking that one guy and just shoving him right into the electrical thing.
Yeah.
Like, and Hunter does that too to someone. Like those deaths, like they were going all in. They're like, this is it. Like, which I thought was more brutal and did a better job of fighting. And I liked the Ahsoka finale.
Sure.
I think it was the finale, but when they're fighting the undead stormtroopers and stuff,
yeah.
it was more slow and plotting. Like this was like fat. And I know it's animation, so they get a little bonus to do it, but it's a little easier to do all that. But I thought that the deaths were brutal. I thought the animation was incredible. The rain on the bridge, the lighting, like I know you talk a lot about that. Like that you can't even say that enough about that. And yeah, I did think it was funny that she hugs Crosshair first.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Hunter.
damn.
Like, hug them both.
Yeah.
You just pick your favorite parent there.
But I think also
right now,
it's kind of
is all about mom, so
sure.
she'll always run
but
to
I think
mom
it's
first. But
kind of like Omega going to Crosshair first because of, like, you did it. You kind of overcame this hold that Tantus has had on you, and you were able to keep a steady hand. And
thanks for not shooting me in the face. That's probably true.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's what I mean, but yeah, I initially was kind of surprised that it was just a solo hug to Crosshair. I thought it would have been both, but yeah. But yeah, I want to ask.
That was great, and then the goggles too on her console on the ship.
Oh boy, the goggles! Whoo, that was brutal. That's in a good way, But
like it's like, isn't the cracked goggles recovered from his dead body, right? Like it is a little morbid to think that
because Hemlock,
like Hemlock, if I were to die, Frank. Okay, and I always used to wear my red Rams or my Ram. What would you say I always wear all the time? Let's say the hoodie. Let's say it's during the Schmodown era, and I have my hoodie and gloves, and then I get hit by a car, and then it would be weird if you kept the hoodie that I died in, and it had like fucking blood marks and tear because of the bus that hit me, and you'd probably hang it on the wall, stoked that I wasn't around anymore. But I'm just saying, like, hanging onto the glasses with like the cracked glass, it's like it is very emotional.
Symbolic.
Like, that's one part that got me. But it is kind of like a little morbid. Like, man, the guy fell.
I mean, she put it in the museum, and then she took it out of the museum.
It belongs in a museum.
I want to ask you this question though: when Hemlock, Winter Soldierizes, or Winter Soldiers these.
I did not think it was tech. No.
No, I'm not gonna. No. When they got their weapons, I was like, is this like a precursor to the Knights of Ren? Like kind of thing where I got a little bit of those vibes just because some of the weapons that they had. Or those
Praetorian guards. Shout out to the Vibrarians, the Vibro swords as they call it in KOTOR. Very cool, very brutal. That fight sequence was great. And then where do you think it goes from here, Frank? Is it? No more? I mean, here's one thing. I love D. Bradley Baker. Mm-hmm. And I especially know this because I have done a Super Watch before, and I know I keep having to restart it. But there's so much Clone Wars. Like, when you do a rewatch of everything, you're going to get to this spot where it's literally, for months you're watching the Clone Wars and now Bad Batch things. Mm-hmm. Like, I think, is there a certain time where it's like, okay, D. Bradley Baker, you are on the Rushmore. Let's retire your jersey. It's time to move on. Still have appearances, like, if Rex comes here and there, but, like, are we done, or is there going to be a big clone? Like, I did think that the show was going to end in an epic clone, reprisal or revival, like, uprising, you know what I mean? To, like, but they don't really do that. They do get saved, but, like, there's no, like, global or galaxy-wide, like, the clones are rebelling.
Right, no.
So it makes you sad when you see that one clone in Obi-Wan, asking for change. It's like a Vietnam War vet, right? So where do you think it goes? Are we done hearing D. Bradley Baker's beautiful voice? I know you're thinking we're going to see Omega. Where do you think we're going to see some of these characters next?
Well, I think it's interesting because, like, we didn't even touch on Emery. She's
that was great too.
Yeah, she's flipped, and she's now off
by wanting to do the right thing.
Yeah,
and that line got me.
Yeah, and so she's going off with Echo, and we got Senator Chuchi name drop there about because she's basically an advocate for the clone rights and all that. So it'll be interesting to see what type of other media comes out concerning, I guess, galactic legislation for the clones.
There's a show.
Yeah, right. You know, I don't know if what'll ever come of that, if they'll ever have like a definitive, like, here's what finally happened to the clones on a like lawful sense or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I've eventually, you know, the clones, they age out pretty quickly.
Not her though.
But yeah, well, I mean, not all of them. I'm just saying, like, the clones at large, you know, the armies of clones that were created by the Kaminoans, you know, they age obviously a lot more quicker. And I would assume that the one that we saw in Obi-Wan is probably like one of like 100 left in the galaxy, you know, whatever, that were born at the tail end.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Sad.
Yeah, it's just kind of like crazy and very sad to think about if you go really in depth with it. But
yeah,
you know, Omega transferring somehow into live action would be cool. But I think she's probably going to still remain in the animated world, and I think it would be interesting for her to pop up in, let's say, like another Tales of the Jedi. Obviously not as a Jedi, but like, well, I mean, maybe, but I doubt
Tales
it.
of the Rebellion.
But like, yeah, it's like maybe she pops in, you know, into someone's story that, you know, that they're telling for a particular character. I don't know who that. That could be a lot of people within, you know, the Rebellion, obviously. And so, I think, you know, I think we'll still see I think we will still see her in animated form somewhere down the line. If they
no live action, huh?
I don't know about the live action, because we're in a period, like, she's in a time period that there's a lot that's happened. They've produced a lot of content for this time period. How much more content I mean, look, if you have a great story, I'm all ears. Like, obviously, I'm going to watch it, or, you know, whatever, consume it, and to find out what happens to this character. But yeah, I'm kind of like, cool, she joined the rebellion. She made her way through the rebellion, and, you know, she was
one of the first ships that died in the Battle of Hoth. Just kidding. Remember in the Battle of Naboo, that first ship when they're all and the one guy just like, that's his battle. That's his war.
Yeah, that was his war. That was
just instant death. That's just crazy. Unreal.
Well,
there's always got to be one guy that dies first in battle. Dude.
Yeah. But I mean, I think, what was I gonna say? Seeing.
She went seeing Omega in live action.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but like, there's like, if you have a good story to tell, that's what I was saying. If you have a good story to tell, then yeah, I want to know what happened to this character. But that being said, I like to think, you know, she fought in the rebellion, she saw the fall of the Empire, and then she went back to Pabu and just was like, cool, awesome, mission accomplished, you know. And you know, I it pains me to think about what the fate of the clones, you know, like, you almost don't want them to die. Like, they're on a trajectory where they're gonna go, like, probably the next.
Yeah.
I don't know if they if. Well, yeah, I mean, they could have seen the fall of the Empire, so they could have lived that long.
Oh, they did. They did.
Much
If Rex
longer.
did.
Yeah,
Rex did.
Yeah. So
I like to think that.
So I was curious. It kind of does put a kibosh on. She joins Asajj and helps with the path and all that. I think that kind of puts the kibosh on that. Not necessarily, but it pretty much does, I feel like, which is fine. And I was kind of surprised, you know, we didn't get another, not surprised, but Asajj just for that one episode, which means, like, okay, that's got to be a backdoor pilot for something they're going to do with her.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They just didn't.
Well, she said this is just the beginning.
Exactly.
Right? You're not going to resurrect her from that well-received novel for no reason.
So,
but yeah, it did seem a little underwhelming that she wasn't used.
I wonder if she'll pop up in Tales of the Jedi, like in Barriss Offee's like arc. I wonder if she'll like briefly pop up or something like that.
Never know.
You know, as she's like, I'm sure, because obviously she'd be pissed at the Empire. You know, she'd want to, you know, wrong anybody. She would want to get back at anybody that wronged, or she feels that wronged her. Anyways, I thought this series finale was really good. Great way to wrap it up. It was predictable but unpredictable in a way of how they went about it. And yeah, like the time jump completely. I didn't even think that was a thing. But now I got to think, with every animated series that Dave Filoni's a part of, there might be some, like, you know, epilogue that takes place 15 years later or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
And then it just gets you the mind working on, like, oh, well, what happened to this? Blah, 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 blah. So, All in all, Tech is really, really dead, and that sucks. But he had a very meaningful death and impact on
literal impact on the ground.
You know what was also kind of sad though was when Crosshair said Clone Force 99 died with Tech, and I was like, damn, really feel like that.
Oh yeah,
I was like, that's like, woof.
He was trying to say like we're no longer yeah. And then they disagreed though.
They did.
That was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
that was great.
That's a great scene. Just love the series, and I'm gonna have no problem rewatching this series because even
let's do a super watch, guy. What are you gonna do until Acolyte?
Even I was probably gonna watch Andor. I'm not gonna lie, because
you got to get that far. You got to watch everything else.
I watched the first episode of Andor like a couple weeks ago again, and I was like, oh my god, this show is so good.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it with my wife. She loved Rogue One, and so she's down. She's open for Andor. She loved Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. So Andor will be a different vibe, but she likes those kind of more realistic movies. So I'm excited to watch that with the wifey.
What else has popped up in the past couple of weeks that we could talk about? Besides Bad Batch,
not much.
I think there's like another trailer coming out for Acolyte.
Yeah,
I don't think we got your thoughts.
Quotes from, how they're shooting to outdo the Phantom Menace.
Oh, that was.
Which I think is
what?
I think it's okay to shoot for greatness. You're gonna always try to.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to shoot to outdo this episode next week, right? You're gonna always want to outdo.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I remember seeing that on Twitter and being like, of course, people are gonna twist that.
People will find a thing to bitch about.
And the idea of like for someone to have the audacity to be like, we want to outdo the Duel of the Fates is like for someone to feel like, oh my god, they have the audacity to say that. Like,
I would want to hear that.
I
want my team to say that. If you're on Team Star Wars, you want every actor to be like, "We're outdoing it. We're gonna make a better." And
guess what, Kevin?
Let me say that.
Guess what, Kevin?
Say that.
They actually did outdo Duel of Fates. It's called Battle of the Heroes. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I think that's better than Duel of Fates.
And also, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi beat both of those.
Different styles.
That was about emotion and talking shit back and forth. And sister and like losing his shit.
I bet you
there's different reasons to like both of them.
I bet you if there's like a lot of talking in some of these duel scenes in Acolyte, people are gonna be like, these fights are too slow.
Yeah.
I bet that's what they're gonna say. And then when they're fast and be like, not better than Duel of Fates. Well, you can't please it. You can't please those people.
You can't please anyone. And I don't care because I got my Star Wars. So, but just get it back on the big screen. I'm done with this Disney Plus experiment. It's fun. Keep going with it. It's been great. But it's time to get it back on the big screen. That's another reason why to really go this weekend. If you think about it, it's like,
oh yeah,
we don't know the next time, right? So
well, I mean,
we do, I guess, but we never know. At this point, we never know. So yeah, and then we mentioned it on the Jedi Way. We can mention it now. They have that photo, and maybe you could add it in post if you want. The black and white photo of their cast read, which has been making the rounds on Twitter, which was pretty cool
of Bad Batch
to see. No, for The Force Awakens. It's that shot, that famous shot of all the actors sitting around, and there's an R2-D2 in a crate. Just you can Google it right now. Just the cast read Force Awakens, if you can find it. That was recently released, and it was talking about the journey that they all went, not knowing. Like I made a joke on the. I made a joke about it on the Jedi Way. I said that photo, and I'm sure you'll pop it up on the screen.
I won't.
That photo is such. It's like the World War II photo of like a squadron the day before D-Day. Like, hey, war's an adventure. We're going to go out and help save the world. No idea the shitstorm that is when those doors open and they're on Omaha Beach. Oh and I don't mean to just downplay Omaha Beach or anything. I'm just saying I feel bad that all of those actors, a lot of them went through a lot of shit after that.
Yeah.
And you think that they're so excited right there. We get to do a Star Wars movie. And I'm not feeling sorry for millionaire actors. I'm not saying that. But I do think that they went through some unneeded hate. And I do hope that they get the chance to
you can be empathetic, for sure.
Yeah. And I do hope that they knock it out of the park with the new Rey movie.
Yeah.
But, I look at that in that way. And I also look at it in ways of like how excited I was when I first saw that. And this is what I said this on Jedi Way, and I want to repeat it. When that script reading was done, This is my only problem with the sequels, because I really like the sequels, all of them. But there was so much shuffling and reshuffling. They just handed the baton and someone else got a fresh slate.
Yeah.
When they sat down for that cast reading, they should have had the entire script for The Force Awakens, and they should have had detailed outlines for what The Last Jedi and what The Rise of Skywalker was going to be. Of course, you could change some things around, but they would have the overall thread line, and they would just find the perfect directors for each one. They didn't do that. They only had The Force Awakens, and there was no final order of things.
Right.
And I wish that they had, and that's the only time when I look at that photo where I was like, I wish at that point that they kind of knew where it was going to end, and they didn't. And that was kind of a shame with the constant backtracking and we had to lose this. And I understand with the passing of Carrie Fisher, it really threw a wrench into things for that final movie. But yeah, that's it. I look at that photo with love though, because I remember seeing it for the first time and just like, oh my god, like trying to look at who are these people, what are they going to look like?
There's so much hope in that picture. There's like the possibility of what could be, and a lot of people out there were disappointed for various reasons and storytelling reasons and other
some valid too.
Some valid for sure.
Valid, yeah.
And it's like I think I think most reasonable people would come to the conclusion of like, yeah, you know what? Might have been nice if we had the full 3 movies kind of thought out a little bit more instead of you get a piece, you get a piece, you get a piece. I do have to say though, like when I first heard that that was the idea, I go, oh, that would be kind of interesting. And then now seeing it in practice, you go, that's not a great idea. It would take a really special group of people to be. It's a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing of like collaboration.
Maybe for another episode.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing about collaboration and that's a whole other thing to get into. Really, that's just not what we're here for right now. Anything else that was up in the news that I don't think really anything else. I mean, the Outlaws.
It's like, all right, what else is going on in your life?
Some of the Star Wars Outlaws stuff in terms of like pricing on like the different packages that they're offering for.
I heard about that. Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like the Battlefront 2 loot crate crap, where they were just like, you got to buy.
And then the Jabba stuff too, right? You don't get. Yeah,
so it's about the
Jabba's in the game, but you don't get the Jabba missions unless you pay.
So after that had come out, there was another. I think one of the people from the game or the company, I think they said Jabba's in the game. And you will interact with Jabba in that way, but it's just there's just this one separate mission that's not in the game. So it's like it is weird that as other people have said, you have ready to go content behind basically a paywall, which is kind of like when we know like the game when it comes out, it's still probably gonna have a lot of bugs, and it's gonna have to go through some patch updates, but you already have like a side mission ready to go. Come on, man. Like that's kind of crappy. Also, man, games are expensive, bro. Like $70 or something like that, just for like the standard version on PS5. That's
why I like the old shit, the classics, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man. Plus, it doesn't take.
Oh wait, Kevin. Do you like them for the game or do you like them for the price? Because that's kind of what we're talking about here right now.
Well, yeah, I like them for the price too. They're a little cheaper. These days. Well, but I mean, speaking from someone who I'm sure you're still deep into that Final Fantasy game where you're trying to. Yeah. Like, that, it probably was an expensive game.
Yeah, that was like, I got a combo pack for Remake and Rebirth. And
did you replay the Remake first?
A little. I got I played like 50% of it. And then I ended up going up to Frisco for a while, and then I came back. So I didn't have a chance. But I played a lot of it.
How many Bud Lights did you have playing this new one?
Oh my gosh, not enough. Gotta get some Bud Light. Anyways, so games these days are just, I know, are generally expensive, but like the other thing was it's like $140 for like the deluxe one.
That's too much.
And you get like all these different like skin mods or whatever, and then you get like a digital art book, which is just, in my opinion, the dumbest thing to like. If that was because it's a digital. It's not even a physical book. It's not even a thing you can put on like your coffee table. It's pictures that I just Googled, basically.
JPEG.
It's like one person has to buy it, and then the internet. It's all over the internet. So it's just like, what's the point of like a digital art book? Just put it on your Instagram profile, guys. Like, just put those pictures on your Instagram profile. That's pretty much what's gonna happen to them anyway. So it's just
when's that game drop?
End of August, I think it is.
Oh wow, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Are you gonna do streams for it or what?
Probably.
Nice.
You know,
so I can heckle you the next day.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, also
he was playing Jedi Survivor, and at one time he was just dying over. And over
oh my god, the end.
And I texted him.
It took me like 3 hours because I'm not good at games, so it is what it is.
Neither am I, dude.
But I beat it.
I make movies about them, and I watch you play them.
But I did beat it, and I want to thank the people, like the 3 people that were there when I beat it, who stuck with me. Shout out. So yeah. I'm looking forward to the game though. I'm looking forward to the game and playing it and seeing what's in store. But I don't think there's really anything much else. I'm looking forward to some more footage from Acolyte. Not too much. I don't want too much given away.
Yeah, you're gonna see Yoda in one of the trailers, or no? They're gonna save it like.
I don't think they're gonna. So like for the Phantom Menace screening, there's supposed to be an extended preview for Acolyte.
Oh, that's right.
So I don't know if they're gonna show Yoda. I don't think they need to show Yoda in the promotion until the show comes out. That's when you do it. I think you save it for when Yoda finally appears in the show, so it's a surprise for everyone, and then you start pumping the marketing with Yoda. You know,
yeah.
I think that's when you start marketing Yoda. It's like
Revenge of the Sith. All the marketing was Vader's helmet and stuff,
right?
And Vader's, and it's like he's not
he's
Vader with a saber.
He's
he
in
never
it for 3 minutes.
Yeah, and not fully suited with a lightsaber, and there's shots
that's
of
right.
him like,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
No. Okay. I think that's it, Kevin. Is that it?
Yeah, dude. I think on their only other news is they're gonna release soon, and maybe it's this weekend, the Star Wars, the new Star Tours rides.
Oh, right.
We're gonna have to go there. I like Star Tours better than both the other new ones, Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. I think it's nostalgia, but I think the new effects and the new 3D is great. Yeah. But they're gonna add planets and situations from Ahsoka and Andor, I think. Or no, maybe it's Ahsoka and Mandalorian from it.
You mean you can't go to Narkina 5 on Star Tours? Oh, man.
That one level, though.
Would you imagine?
With the eye, the storm, that light thing. What level was Andor. What was that? The eye thing or they fly through? That would have been really cool.
Yeah, that was over on, the event, the eye event, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. That looks pretty fun. And then I think celebration tickets for Japan.
They are on sale now. They're on sale now.
So,
as of when this is released. Yeah. Ooh.
And work on Convergence, KOTOR Convergence. Man,
yeah, you got a release date.
I did a watch down.
You got a release date on that?
I'm done with almost all of my animatics, and the movie I would say is about 79% edited.
Okay.
We did a watch down of the last hour. It's really good.
Okay.
I'm gonna rent a theater out in LA.
I can't believe you're gonna
I'll probably do a cut down. Huh?
I can't believe you're gonna do that. That's crazy.
I did it for episode 3, and it was one of the greatest days of my life. It'll cost me $1,000. I'll save up. I've spent $1,000 on a lot worse. Let's be honest.
Then can we throw up my episode 3 supercut?
No, that would cost like $2,000. So long. But you could do $2,000, or sorry, you could do $1,000 for 2 hours straight. So I'd probably take it and do like a cool like 90-minute cut of it. But it's gonna be really good. There's some really good stuff in it. And I'm really looking forward to people seeing it.
Yeah, so. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see this thing.
Yeah, and I want you. So
I'll do an out of theater reaction to your.
Nice. You could do a reaction.
I'm gonna do a whole review.
You gotta watch my trilogy,
Kevin. Can we do a press junket? Can I do a press junket with you and with Varkor? How do you say it?
Varkor, yeah. Well, he's from overseas, so I don't know if he'll make it out.
No. I mean, we can do a digital press junket, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll do it. You got to get a whole back setup with like KOTOR, step and repeat.
But yeah, and I think if people are asking lately, what's the order to do it? And the order to watch it, I would believe, is kind of like when you went into a Spider-Man No Way Home. Is that you would watch the OG stuff first. So like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans and then the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Then you watch the new stuff with Tom Holland. And then you watch the crossover. And I think that is the best way to do it. So where people are asking what order to watch, I would believe you watch mine first. The trailblazing OG trilogy where Logan Starr and the story of Revan and all of that. And then you watch a far different version of it with his trilogy, where he goes bad. And I think that's the perfect cue up for when especially the way we reintroduce Logan, it's like, oh shit, dude, we're going back to the OG Logan, and he's going to see this new one, this new guy. I think it's going to be really fun. And
so that Logan will not have a lot of the experiences from the other movies, is what you're saying.
No, well, to give you an example, in my movies, Logan's good. Mm-hmm. And there's and I won't say any spoiler because you want to watch the movies, you want to watch the KOTOR movies, find it on Smash City Studios. There's a character, there's a very good guy character. She's like a teenager in the game, and I don't know if you're picking up on who I'm mentioning. In my movies, she lives to the end. She's in the sequel that we're doing now, Shadows of the Sith.
Okay.
Shadow of the Sith. In his movie, his Revan goes bad at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So my Revan, when he finds out that he's Revan, he goes back to the light. His story is a far different version of it. And it's like if you play the game, and everybody loves playing the game being the bad guy.
Right.
So in his version, it's the telling of the events, and Revan goes bad and then triples down on it. And in his movie, he brutally murders this same character that is like beloved, right? Okay. So there's a scene in the new Convergence movie where Logan, my good guy, is like, well, what happened to our friends like this, and that? And he's shifty about it. I'm probably saying too much, but it's fine. He's shifty about it and doesn't commit and say anything. Mm-hmm. And then at one point, and it's from the trailer, Logan says, "What did you do? Show me." And he puts his hand on his shoulder. And obviously, he's probably going to get a force vision of what happens. Yeah. And that scene afterwards, when Logan realizes what he's dealing with, because it becomes kind of this buddy cop comedy for a while of like, I know you're bad, but like until you put faces to what bad that he really did, they had to team up together. And so there's some really good, powerful dynamics. And I must say that the Darth Varkor does a tremendous job with the Dan character and the voice acting of this tortured soul, because in the movie it almost feels like at times that Dan so desperately wants to see that, oh, he could be Logan, this is a life that he could leave, but he's so far. Sometimes you double down and you dig your heels in and you can't go back, and he knows he can't go back. Gotcha. Not after all the things he did, right? And it's a really dark tale, but like, and again, we've not told anyone what the main villain is. That's not even the main villain. The main villain's going to blow people away, especially fans of lore. I can't. I would not tell you. I'll tell you off the air because you won't care. But yeah, we're keeping it a secret in the marketing. He won't even be in a single trailer. You could see maybe a silhouette of him, but you won't know who he is. But it's going to be awesome. But yeah, so it's getting really close, and I got this great sound mixer. Brian DiDomenico, he did the sound mix for episode 3. He's going to take it and make it sound like a real movie. So when we're in the theaters,
oh hell yeah,
when we rent this theater out, it's going to sound like a Star Wars movie. And sound takes you more than halfway there. And so yeah, it's old graphics and stuff. But when you're in a theater and you see it on the big screen and the explosions are rumbling your chair and stuff, it's going to be really fun. I'm excited.
Let me ask you this question, Kevin: if it was completely doable, if you could do these KOTOR movies in the animation style that Star Wars has now, would you do it?
In a heartbeat.
Well, because I just don't know how like attached you are to the OG graphics. If that's plays.
No. If you're talking about like in graphics nowadays, yeah, I mean, if they did a remake, I know that everybody will be like, time to remake the movies, and it wouldn't be possible because like this engine is hackable the way it is.
Yeah.
So I think you watch it and you do forget eventually, but like for some newcomers, they look at it and they want to turn it off because it makes the skin crawl, the old graphics. Yeah. But yeah, if we could redo it, yeah. But you start doing that, and then you get shut down, right? So like we've kept out of the space of getting shut down because we're not threatening anything.
Yeah.
And when that one movie was using like the highest graphics and everybody was just talking, they were using it to like, because everybody, Star Wars fans are so nice to each other. They were using it to be like so much better than yours. Look at this. It looks like a real movie, or it looks like an Xbox 3, or not 360. It looks like a Xbox Series X game.
Yeah.
You know, but that got shut down because then they're doing the remake and there's like, you're looking too close to our remake.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, okay.
You know, keeping in with the retro graphics, I think it's just a retro style. It's like if you see a movie and the movie's trying to, you know, like Paul Thomas Anderson, I think, or no,
yeah,
who am I? I'm mixing it up. That movie where the Asteroid City, it looks like a postcard. Like the whole movie looks like a postcard.
Yeah.
So I think, you know. But yeah, if I could, I would. If I could do it like the animation, like Bad Batch, like it would be an amazingly successful movie. And this story, especially of two Revans, it's a very fascinating story.
Well, can't wait.
Really excited.
Yeah, can't wait for it to come out and enjoy it in the theater. But that's gonna do it for us this week here on good old Scoundrels Inc. Sans
You're such a
Brandon
scoundrel.
Hanna because he's off with NASA and stuff. I've been Frank Janich. That was Kevin Smets. This has been our discussion, review, recap of the Bad Batch series finale and other things happening in the Star Wars fandom at large. Hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that stuff. You know what to do. Listen, podcast feed, blah, blah, blah. And we'll see you, I don't know, we'll see whenever we see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.